I missed my podcast upload yesterday because of the exact same thing I'm going to be talking about in today's episode: perfectionism. Whew, what a real topic. And the truth is, guys, about this is I recently moved out of home and I couldn't afford studio time this week. And who knows when I'll afford it next. My whole podcast setup is messed up. No professional microphones, cameras, no proper lighting. And in my head, I thought, I cannot upload an episode recorded on my iPhone. People will definitely notice the difference. So, what did I do? Instead of adapting, I delayed. And maybe you've done the same thing, just in different ways. You don't start the gym because you can't afford that perfect membership, or you don't have the right treadmill, dumbbells. You stop eating healthy because one weekend of a braai went badly. You miss one morning routine and suddenly your whole week is ruined. You're waiting for this perfect time, this perfect feeling, to feel ready, to have the perfect conditions. And while you're waiting, your life stays exactly the same. And the scary part about perfectionism is that it actually makes you feel so productive when in actual fact you're just procrastinating. If that sounds like you, then this is our episode. Welcome back to Healthy Hypocrites. This is the podcast where we talk about the messy intersection between faith, science, and health, but also where we get vulnerable. And I'm your host, Tumi, a follower of Christ, but also a dietitian and a lactation consultant. And I believe that wellness is not about perfection, but instead it's about honesty, intention, and grace. This is the place where we stop pretending. This is the place where we stop pretending like we have it all together, and we start getting honest about our habits, our fears, our mindsets, and things that we feel are keeping us stuck. Today, there is no confession jar. Dun, dun, dun. And this is because the confession today and the question today is, where is your perfectionism paralyzing you? For me, I remember once going to the gym for a step class and I realized that I forgot my gym clothes. Like, how on earth do you go to the gym and forget your gym clothes? The thing is, I go straight to the gym from work. And so I thought I had them. I was wearing jeans and Stan Smiths, and I almost left. And I said, you know what? I don't have the stuff to do my step class because in my head, the workout is now already ruined. But instead, I decided to stay. I went into that class and it was so awkward towards the end. I literally slipped on the step and I wanted to give up then. And I said, you know what? I can't do the step class, but let me do some weights. And you know what? That workout was way better than doing nothing. But how many times do we quit something before we even began it? Perfectionism often sounds like a good thing, and it hides behind these high standards, behind being disciplined. But most of the time, it's fear wearing a productive outfit, fear from failing, fear from thinking about what other people would think, fear of looking stupid, not being impressive, feeling not good enough, really. And because perfectionism is so rooted in fear, it paralyzes us from acting. There's actually a large study by Limberg and colleagues, and I'll put this in the link below. I'll put this in the description. And it found that perfectionism is strongly associated with anxiety, depression, stress, and avoidance behaviors, which actually challenges everything that we think about perfectionism, because it means that perfectionism doesn't usually make people perform better long term. Instead, it makes people avoid things altogether. And that's where some of us, or even you might relate to this, is we keep planning, but we never start. We keep searching, like we have this thrill in the search, but we never commit. Or we keep starting over again and over again instead of just continuing on that imperfection and continuing when things didn't go well. Because imperfect action always feels like very uncomfortable. But do you know what's even more uncomfortable? And I'm about to twist your mind when I say this. Do you know what's even more uncomfortable? Staying stuck for years because you were too afraid to do something badly at first. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4 says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." In other words, if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never move. Oh, this gave me chills when I read this because, you know, so many of us are spiritually and emotionally exhausted because we're always hesitating. We're always overthinking, constantly waiting to feel ready. But growth doesn't happen in a perfect environment. It happens when we repeat. It happens in repetition. Proverbs 24 verse 16 says, "For all the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." Notice how it doesn't say the righteous never falls. It just says that they keep getting back up. And that's what it means to be consistent and not to be perfect. This is something that I still battle with myself. Now, when it comes to this, we need to know, how do we address this in the first place? This is my biggest mistake. The biggest thing that I find myself doing is romanticizing the perfect start. And trust me, I know you guys have been there too. We've all been there. We all need to be honest with ourselves. How many times have you looked at the Pinterest boards and created a perfect pen for how the perfect start is going to look, looking up the perfect workout videos, planning it, scheduling it, and saying that it's going to go down like this, buying the perfect outfit, the equipment, and feeling that high and mighty feeling, and then it all comes crashing down when you realize that it's not as perfect as you had envisioned. The truth is, and this is something that I was fighting myself, is that your first attempt is supposed to feel awkward. It's supposed to be weird. You're supposed to be embarrassed the first time that you work out. Your first video is supposed to get very low views, even if the algorithm favors you in the first, say, 3 videos and drops your bum off at the door for the next ones. It's normal. It's supposed to feel terrible. Your first week eating healthy might fall apart by Thursday, and that's so normal. So the first step to becoming better than the perfectionism is to understand that we're always going to feel uncomfortable in it. The second thing that I find helps a lot is when we focus on momentum instead of intensity. When you have an imperfect workout like what I did when I was wearing those jeans and Stan Smiths, it's better than not doing it at all. When you have one healthy meal, even though you might have a braai later or a dinner out, it's better than not having that healthy meal at all. If you have one episode of a podcast that's coming from your iPhone and all of the others were recorded on your mic, it's better than not skipping the upload entirely. Small, consistent actions are the things that change your identity over time. And I think this is the third thing that I'm going to mention that we can work on, and this is probably the very biggest thing, is that we need to stop tying our worth to our performance. Because perfectionism tells you, if I fail, I'm a failure. If I cannot do this workout, then I'm just an unfit girl. If I cannot upload this podcast episode, then I'm just a trash podcaster. Okay, I never told myself that, but how often do we tell ourselves that we're failures in so many arenas? But grace says you are still growing. Romans 12 verse 2 says, and I know everybody knows this one because this is one of the most popular Bible verses, though this is one of the most known ones. It says, "Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is a strong reminder that when we transform, it's a process. It's not a performance. So this week, I really and truly sincerely want you all to stop waiting for those perfect moments, that perfect condition. Do that workout that makes you feel unfit and lazy and like you shouldn't be working out. Do it. Start that plan that is not perfect, where you don't have all of the moving parts yet. Post that content that makes you feel a little bit embarrassed because of the quality of your video or the state of your room. Have the difficult conversation that you need to have with your partner who buys you takeouts every day. Take that small step. Do that one thing that you know is going to be so uncomfortable, because on the other side is progress. You thought I was going to say on the other side is perfection. No, it's not. It's progress. Because the people who change their lives are usually not the people who do things perfectly. They're the people that keep showing up even when it doesn't look beautiful. So remember that. Keep that with you this week. You've been listening to Healthy Hypocrites. This is where we get real about wellness and grace. And I'm Tumi, and until next time, remember, you don't need to be perfect to be at peace. You just need to be present and intentional. And I will see you next week, Tuesday at 6. Bye.